So this message is for the chosen ones and the ones that have had innumerable attempts of sabotage and the destructive kind in their lives. I want you to know that you're not alone. And I believe we can fight this. I do. I believe we already are. But what we need to do is realize that these places of power and assertion and crimes against humanity are not going to stop. And you have to be really in stealth mode with your heads and your hearts and your guts with what's going on in the world and in your lives, because you have to realize that these people aren't going to stop. They're going to continue to press and try to make things harder, no matter if they're within the system or without, or if they're infiltrated or not. They're going to continuously try to push for the total takeover. It's the agenda that they're driving into people's lives. And so I want the chosen to know that though these things are happening, and though times ahead might get rough, that their hearts and everything that they have stored up in heaven is much like that of a bank account in a different sense that's in heaven for you. And so, though if you can get through a lot of this stuff that's happening in your life right now, you will meet blessings, and I hope that we can meet breakthroughs and make breakthroughs happen for a lot of us out here, because there's people hurting everywhere. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe people are hurting on all levels, everywhere, on every single bar, in just a spiral domino rally effect of how much pain is actually on every single playing field of every level that's actually out here. And so the message that I feel that I'm trying to share with you all is that the relentless attacks are going to keep on coming. But just know that within your spirit, you were meant for more. And if these people can't see that by now, they really don't have much going for themselves in the spiritual realm or in this spiritual battle that you are faced up with. Because that's what it is. A spiritual battle is against all of the evils of this world that want to coincide in the flesh of the earthly things, but don't care about anything to do about going into that 4D or 5D dimensional love being the answer. And that's the Lord. There's nothing else out here that is going to save us in the end from all of this bullshit. I mean, it's bullshit. I mean, by now we should have robot butlers and marble roads with cars that are completely not hackable. I mean, not even not hackable, but people in their hearts should just be able to live in the light of Christ here on earth as it is in heaven, to give us this day our daily bread. But do people hear it that way, or is it always hard and felt in the opposite, where it's give us this day our daily bread, or us our trespasses. Lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. I don't hear it the way of old. I hear it the way of new, I guess, or I feel it in the way of new. Where, how do you say it? If people are to actually understand their hearts, our magnetic field, what we speak into, that's what they're trying to pervert. All that stuff. But if you're actually to collaborate on that level as a whole humanity, not like, I get that there's no promise of everyone being not evil. I get that. But the promise of like people being able to fortify those dreams and really press for those dreams to not only be cherished in them, to work on them together, but wholly exploding fats, Batman, when it's like you can actually take your dreams into something that you can actually inspire to help another into their own dreams, which can also enhance your own dream. You see what I mean? Come back to you tenfold. And then this can happen on multiple scales of people. Everywhere. Loving and supportive. Not like Johnny C-Man. I mean, he's just a fucking shit for all fucking deceptive ass con men. If you ask me, these Freemasons, that's the problem. This deception. And all these players that need to one-up everybody so they can mummify themselves in a yet bigger mansion. That's how these cartels are. And then people want to fucking act like there's not a problem out here with people's hearts. And then so what's that? He wants to pretend like, how is heart work supposed to work, dude? How did anything with the name given, one of the 26 letters of the alphabet inside of mixtures and combinations of letters to complete words to make a sentence or make a statement or make a fucking name or a brand or a title hasn't worked. I mean, I get where people try to come out with stuff and that doesn't work, but I think that they would have been able to come up with stuff and have it work had people really understood really understood the demons at play here. The demonology at play here. Through the witchcraft and sorcery, all the way through the design to get you into the practitioners so they can keep you maligned, so they can keep you coming back as customers, pumping out what they want you to pump out in the world, controlled, corralled, but you never actually are ever going to even make one of those cars. So your sovereignty is gone, wiped away completely. You have no more rights. You are corrallable and pushable. What the fuck you call that but a slave? What else do you call that? And especially when you're a targeted individual, because now they're pushing you around, they're close to home, it's just a crime that's too close to home. And then these people just want to deflect from heart's work, or having to think that there's any kind of huge gap to be manned here between good and evil. Okay, right? There's a gap, or it's a thin line. It's either really tiny in people's hearts, where they have an easy time flipping from one way to the other, or there's a big fucking gap, and I think there's just this big fucking gap, yo. So what I'm trying, So in other words, initially, through e-commerce and design, creating the webs, seminars and everything like that, the classes, courses, and then getting other people in paid for their own heart's work. I don't know, dude. I don't think I should really have to divulge anymore, to tell you the truth. And as far as that's concerned, it doesn't really matter what you call it. It really doesn't. I mean, it does, it doesn't. But the fact of the matter is that it really doesn't matter what you call it. The thing in and of it itself is are you moving in that way with that design of what we are suggesting through heart's work or working on yourself to become a better humanity within regards to this murderous sleuth of an abusive ass way that these familial ties and close people can take to really degrade and leave people in detriment, and it happens. And then people want to deflect from me just simply because there's a lot of people that would go to jail. So little old person who has been fighting a fucking crime their whole life since they were fucking born, all of a sudden has to be put to death so that a bunch of fuck-off artists can sit there with their blackened up, darkened ass, fucked up hearts, malignant, narcissistically pushing people around with absolute malevolence to control and pervert and deceive and destroy. Well, we call that demons, demonology. And we also call that sorcery. For we forgive them, for they know not what they do. We're fighting not against flesh and blood, but we're fighting against principalities, this darkness of this occultist type. But the fact of the matter is that some people are fully, head to toe, full, chock full of demons. And I don't know what kind of exorcism it would take, because I don't think it would take any. They're actually in the flesh, embedded in the evil and devil, so much so that they might as well be the Antichrist on earth. And mind you, I shouldn't ever put the in front of Antichrist, because you're not going to find it in the King James Version. It's just Antichrist. Because it's talking about all the people who are against Christ, the embodiment of the evil. To choose to side with this world, the sciences, the dick-off fuck of degrees that these Freemasonry shit shows design, and then they want to censor people like me for simply having to fight based on the things that I had to go through growing up, that I know other people had to go through growing up to some extent. But I know that there's a lot of people, and a lot more people, who have never had to experience this. They don't know what I'm talking about, or they think you're crazy, or they don't think I have the right to say what I have the fucking right to say. And they should fuck well know it. Just in and of itself, of how I am. You see what I mean? Because I'm not. I mean, I do write, and I do practice, per se, so, like, I wasn't a speaker. I wasn't even a speaker in front of people that should have cared to have heard me at times that I needed to say something important. But all of those times add the breadcrumbs of other things that happened in my life. So when I'm asking for help about something that has to do with what people are moving like with each other, then I think that it really does matter. And I really think that it should matter more in the world than it does. So I guess the main message here is just that I want the chosen to know that if they can earn those blessings or not in this life, based on how damn evil this world really actually is. Reading between the lines of everything's been tricked up and snaked all the way down to your money and your time and energy that's being spent, and things are being figured out. You know, we can plug into trees and get the same energy. There's things we can do for free energy and to free ourselves from the clutches of what we've been already living. And because they know that this kind of energy is like trying to grow, they have to like replicate it with the 5G and burn people up. And the blue, we're having a little bit of trouble with blue over here. Gotta get that fixed. I figure out how to burn blue. I don't know what you guys all think, but I think it's a real world of warfare, kind of hidden between the fucking lines of everything you're going through right now. And if more of us came together and created in that kind of way too, to create a movement, and we all collaborated and decided how together through our ministry and prayer value and things that we're actually taking, with being really hardcore tied to the Lord. Hardcore, mind you, hardcore. Did I say hardcore? But if you take it to that level, I believe that we will move things in this world in such a phenomenal fashion that it wouldn't matter if it was something people were wanting to do at the county fairs, or a service that they wanted to create or make with their fellow warriors, or what have you. I think that in the coming days, God willing, that we can move in those ways. And that's literally been my goal. And it was like to suggest, hopefully I can build, instead of like, I can't get a rich rock and roll band right off the bat, so what else can I do? Well, I thought of being in service for other people was a good opportunity, and kind of hospitality service of a sorts, for where true what would you even call it, like a true partnership can be created there to really establish changes to where we can finally take those actual dreams off of the shelves, because after so long, those dreams they're not even remembered, and then they just go away. And I think it's pretty sad that humans have to live like that, based on deception and trickery and the devil, basically, because if our identities are all hidden in Christ, in love, in a stay with, in love with each other, in love with life, in love with the birds, the trees, with each other, in what we want to do in life. People don't have it in them to do this kind of fuck for all, that's for sure. And so it was a niche. I thought, because something's happening in my life, I'm just write this stuff out, regardless how many crumpled up pages I fucking throw around or whatever. But the fact of the matter is that I lost a box of my writing, and then I honestly think just happenstance, I happened to drive by the guy that fucking got to snake it out of my life. And I think it's really sad if he knows and I know that I'm right, or if he knows and the Lord knows that that's accurate. Because who in their right mind could ever, who in their right mind, as far as who they are, could sit there in their fucking warped heart and be that person? And regardless of the fact it was a box, and it looked like a box of notebooks flopping into a fire, going poof into the fire. So you tell me, when it's the same man that you're discovering doing all this fuck all over your life, after you've had conversations well within to, if this situation were in reverse per se, he would know for a fact that it wasn't me, and that it would never have been me. And he knew that not only from just me, myself, and I being who I am, but he also knew that from hacking me. So I think these people know exactly how they've pushed me. They know exactly what they've taken from me. They know exactly what life I'm actually owed out here and in this way. And the reason I say that is because every single dollar that I've basically spent for my life has been free game with how people have treated me. And so my whole life, and I never knew this was coming from my own people, mind you. I mean, I think if I wasn't poisoned up, I would have discovered it, and maybe had been running with Forrest Gump still at this age, like starting at 12. I don't know. But all I know is that there's no contents of my life that is my own, including the very fragmented reality that people are seeing online with me. And I believe I deserve a raise, a promotion, like right from the Lord. And that's, I guess, what I'm saying to the chosen, is that you do deserve that promotion. And I want them to know that, well, the message that I have is that no matter how this plays out in the future, the Lord wants you to know that your treasure is protected in heaven. Because no one deserves to have to go through all this stuff out here in this fashion. And if I have it within my mission, I would like to write in a fashion, mind you. So if you wanted to help me write lyrically and, put together a 2 or 4 whatever minute song length that you want to create, and make it about creating fire against the enemy in the world. All of these evils, whatever is happening in your life, or to make it a niche into a hyper pop or country hip hop or rock or emo or whatever you want to do, but to take it out and just put it together, even if it sucks, because I would rather normalize Heart's work in the fashion of where people are actually coming out making 12 songs a day, and one of those songs every single day is going to be something on fire or close to it. But you're not going to get to creating anything good until you try, until you actually give yourself some credit for what you were able to do. And then with that whole idea is work. That's why I call it, it's meant to be work. Like, you're not going to just sit down at the drums and all of a sudden be Vinny from, or, be Morgan Rose from, Sevendust. You're not, you're not going to sit down at a thing that you love or that you would like to see yourself doing. And you're not going to just be able to come out there, and especially with all this kind of stuff happening in your life, and it's going to be crystal clear. So the idea here is to do it anyway. People don't have to understand you. It's art. People don't have to really grasp every single concept that you're taking out. You might have 30 years locked inside of your belly trying to come out, and so I think just giving yourself the credibility to know that your treasure it's right in front of you somehow, and to believe that, and to go to prayer in that way together with me for those very blessings in the coming days, until the Lord decides to take us away, and these evils are just overbearing, which they are. Then just know that you're protected, and unless these people do their due diligence and their generational curse breaking and stuff. I have written it all out, and I don't want to give people the bearings of what it all is, but when it would come about, I think that people would really be proud to be a part of something, and not in a prideful, egotistical fashion or anything, but just really just be joyous about what they're doing and what they're taking part in, and what they're hopefully able to see happen in the future, hopefully able to not only happen to see in the future, but be a part of, help, donate to. But as far as these people go, they don't care about me be alive. So I don't know if I can work at McDonald's without being targeted, let alone try to figure out a way to drive a Ferrari. But it's a really shitty thing what these people did, and if you're experiencing those things too. You know, I just wanted to create a platform where my friends, my family, people, I didn't have to, like, yeah, I could be a part of a community that I didn't have to question the hearts and minds of the men and people I'm around to be able to grow with. So, if that's called Heartworks or if it's called something else, then I think that I reserve the right to try and ask for donations given the plight in my life. Or whatever, you know, the Freemasons can throw me into a caravan and podunky drive me somewhere and put a hole in the back of my head, hopefully, and it doesn't have to be so painful all my life, trying to just reach out for just a little bit of a normalcy. I couldn't do the apartment living, I couldn't do I couldn't do any sort of living because, well, someone's been really after me, and someone's been really covertly trying to screw up my life. And now to find out how these things happened and all the initial investigations, where they all started from and how they did, it's left my soul kind of flapping in the wind because no one deserves this. Like, I deserve my organic, sanctified life. Holy and true. Not a free-for-all fucking, these people want to just be completely, I don't know, just retarded to the heart, dude. Just completely fucking retarded to the heart. I don't know how else to say it, but that's how I see it. Is like, oh, you're just gonna be a complete free-for-all, fuck off all over my life. Okay, good job. Good job. You're real good at worldly shenanigans. I don't know. But that's all it really is, and that's all it really boils down to. There's no, like, reaching baseline with people that have no fucking heart center about them and anything you're trying to do, and no matter what you're trying to do, they're going to try and dismantle it and pick it apart and choose around the goalposts of what they're going to suggestively say that you're trying to bring out, because just because you're freaked out online and you're all like, fuck you, Dad, and you asshole, you know. But ultimately, I guess I'm just trying to be real with my audience here and let you guys know that I wholeheartedly believe that the Christians who are doing this something to tie to other people's prayer values, like the Bible is calling for, because those are the things that I believe can really change the world. And not only do I believe they will, but I have 100% faith that they actually do. Like, they've gotten me through a lot of things that I didn't understand I was getting through at the time, if that makes sense. But I guess I just really wanted to create a niche in my life to be able to enjoy the things that I like to enjoy with people, and then also establish a place where other people could do those same things that were somehow being hindered in their lives, which I think is a lot of people. So, I don't know, if we're not allowed to live in the color in our own bodies and establish that vibration in the world with those that we consider to be the humanity that's around us, if you're asking me, life is not worth living until we can do that as humanity. But so long as people can get away with doing what they are doing, stuffing people into little black, bald fucking realities, then life is never going to be life. And nobody is ever going to be actually free. Because how free are you if the dreams of the other dreamer didn't get to dream? How actually free are you? Oh, you're a Freemason. That's right. You fucking can do fuck for all. And just whatever. It don't matter. These people are free for all over life and all over the design that God had intended, and they know it, and they're just trying to move away from the fact before Christ comes back, or something's happening in the world today. That's all I can say. Something is very vibrant and happening in the world today, and if you're gonna deny it, deny it. But I'm not gonna deny it, and I think that a whole lot of people would side with me and say, yeah, he's right, there's something happening in the world today that's not right and needs fixing, and just it's an awful feeling. Maybe it's this 5G, who knows? We're like suffocating our frequencies to grow together and unfurl in an actual world filled with light and joy and true freedom and patriotism with and for each other all over the world. Like, we don't need like some big old conspiracy one world government. There can only be 500,000 people on Earth, or whatever that number is on the fucking guidestones. And if that's your world, that's like legitimately like that's what you want. Oh my god, podunky you, good for you. You get to fucking eat salad on the blood money. You should just eat your money. Like cut yourself open, fill yourself up with money, and we'll put a zipper on you, zip you up, and whatever. Fucking mummy. Money mummy. But yeah, that's all that there is. It's just, it's slavery, and it's not fucking free, and I don't care what people fucking say. Until this gets changed. And I'm praying in Jesus Christ's name that it does get changed. And I'm hoping that you're with me and that you have faith that the might is mighty. Because I believe. So I know other Christians do, and I know other chosen are they know exactly what I'm saying. While other people are rather outsourced. You might hook up a bass drum pedal and hit their head, and it might make a nice boom. I don't know. But that's what I think. Either way, if they got cells in there, they're not in alignment with one another or each other or anything. They're gonna experience things, and they're doppelgangers and all their fucking doppelganger friends and shit. Like, it really doesn't matter in the spiritual realm once everyone's dead. I can promise you that. What these people have done with life, they're not gonna go forward. So anyway, that's not the point of this message. I just wanted to tell people that I think that their blessings are ahead of them until the real blessings and the real treasure is actually in heaven. What I'm just ultimately sharing and trying to do here is let you know that the Lord is still in control, and if the Lord wants to make something happen, the Lord will. And if the Lord does not want to make something happen, then it won't happen until you're in heaven. In this world I'm getting at. Because this world is evil. I don't understand how a person can go through a lot of things that I've gone through and a lot of things that people go through out here, but especially what I've gone, it's just so heart flapping, you guys. Like, if you actually got to experience what I was going through, you'd know that everything that was coming out here was true. Or I at least have the right to piece together my reality through my emotions and say I am putting up the boundary of, like, I'm done with you. And I reserve the right to tell a person that without them doing fuck all over my life. I'm sorry, but these are paid, like, crisis actors, like, and they infiltrated my life as people that were supposed to be, like, in living color, like, we're like the same or whatever. And it's just so hurtful. So I don't care what Johnny wants to say. You know, so, like, oh my gosh, a human hurts. Did you hear him? He just said that he's gay. I don't understand his concepts on anything, because there's actually no concepts. It's just him talking about me and smearing me. And it's very emotionally abusive how he is and how these people are. And in all honesty, with the whole fact of what they were doing to me and me knowing I had to run and them still getting me a couple times because they wanted to fucking hide up their own actions, I'm sorry, but I really feel strongly that everything I'm saying is factual, because and based on how people have moved. And either way, I am scared of them. And I would rather, my whole life has been stripped from me, so unless something magical happens in that fashion, then I just would rather go and hope to be with the Lord, go home finally. Because this shit don't feel like no homes. My whole life has never felt like home. So, if you get to go home and relax and actually not have, like, I don't know how people's lives are, they can mightily accept a whole lot of garbage, I guess, but I don't know, if you don't have to think like you gotta be in question about your own wife or husband or your, brother or your, someone in your life, a friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. You shouldn't have to question the values of these people in your life. And especially not after that long standing. With having memories surface of how that man moved before. No. This was all a pre-planned attempt to put me in this house and just my whole life, man, my background, everything was just an attempt of an erasure. And they did it, as a matter of fact. Regardless that I'm here and I'm hurting in my chest because of shit, emotionally. But then there's that physical part too. And I know both of them. I know both of those feelings very well. I've gotten to know them very well. And now I know exactly where they've come from, why I have diabetes, why I couldn't take diabetes medication on top of being poisoned, all that kind of stuff. I know exactly verbatim what's happened to me by listening to my body. The way they teach you to, way long ago anyway. But nowadays, you can't even be the sole proprietor of listening to your body since you were 2 years old, fighting a whole fucking war your whole life, without them being like, oh, we gotta put him off into a fucking insane asylum. Oh, okay. Like, that doesn't help your fucking cause. Whatever. These people belong in hell. That's what I think. And I don't think there's much repentance for them. But I do advise it. I highly advise it. And, you know, the Lord does the unimaginable. I mean, that's all I know, because there's no one else that protected me from all of these things but God, knowing that all of these attacks that were on me were covert, meaning to pervert me, meaning to push me up under. And in the end here, it was a whole plan to completely do the destiny swap and identity theft. Because that fucking bitch was paid for. And I can tell you why. Because in the end, put it this way, I believe wholeheartedly, in the end, if she could have put away that money and just had been with me, she would rather have that than have to live with what she has to live with now. Based on these, you know, games people play in the evil. She says I didn't deserve it. No, I didn't. But the question still is daunting. Then who actually does deserve it? Does anybody actually deserve to be killed? I mean, I get, you know, people can think about however they want to think about that, but all I'm saying is that in the right standing form of the Christian heart, whatever, if you don't come up with the answer being no one deserves to fucking die, then you're a fuck all. Fuck for all. Someone else deserves to die. Who, I guess. Let's all pump ourselves up like Billy Gates and go jab a bunch of genetically modified organisms right into their arms just like this, and we shoot it in. They don't even have any food to eat, and next thing you know, they got, you know, whatever, they're dead. A world that believes all the evil and doesn't believe in anything good is a world that's destitute. And so, if you guys want a destitute life, good job this far already. You're off to the races.